starting
This
now.
meeting is being recorded.
Okay, so this is the ONNX meeting of June 12, and we have Idong and Saurab and Ofer on the call. I think the focus of the meeting needs to be to continue review the document that Idong put out. Are there any other agenda items that people would like to raise? Okay, cool. So let me start sharing my screen. So Yudong, do you want to go through and describe some of the changes you did to the document?
Yes. So actually, I changed the title name of this file, so I cannot see the original comments. So there are some minor changes to the. Oh yes, there are. Yeah, the title name changed and some titles, some subtitles changed. I think there is a major part. Scroll down. Can you?
Do you want to maybe you present?
Do you mean?
You can share your screen and then you can go through it.
No. Actually, just using your screen is fine.
Maybe let me see if I can somehow give you control. Yeah, I can give you control.
All right.
You now have control on the screen. I hope.
Right. Wait a minute. No, I cannot share my screen right now.
But you can control my screen.
All right.
There you go.
Okay, great. So let me see. Yeah, I can scroll down. Good. So there are just some changes. The first one, I think, the definition of an edge device. So in the last meeting, we talked about the connectivity of an edge device. Actually, we agreed that connectivity is a state rather than a capability. For an edge device, it can be connected or can be not connected. It's a state. So I changed my statement of the definition of edge devices. So okay, I cannot see my latest commits. Can you refresh this page? I think, yeah, I just committed a few hours ago. So
let's see.
Yeah. Just refresh this page.
This is the pull request.
Yes.
Maybe I need to go to that. No.
No.
I think it shows the latest.
Yes.
Let's see, when does it show? Revision 75.
Right.
Let me try and see.
Yeah, I just committed just hours ago.
Let's see if we go directly.
Mm-hmm.
This one?
No.
Sorry. Artifacts. No.
No. In discussion materials, I guess. Holy shit. So can you just release and I can share my screen? Actually, I can see my comments in my laptop. I don't know why. It's cannot see here.
Okay.
Yeah, in the PR. Can you click the PR?
No, I released it and now you can show.
Can you guys see?
Yes.
Okay, good. So, okay, great. So, one change is that the definition of an edge device. So, we talked about the connectivity as a state in the last meeting. So everybody agrees that connectivity is a state rather than a capability. So there are two states for an edge device, connected or not connected. So I elaborate a little bit, give some examples of a connected device and a not connected device. So that's fulfills the definition of an edge device. So this is the first major changes.
Okay.
So yeah, an idea?
I just wanted to say it's true that this is a state, but in a sense, some edge devices may not have a connectivity ability at all. So their state would be always non-connected.
I think because edge device is the difference between cloud computing and edge computing is that edge computing is closer to the source of the data. So the workflow is done within the edge device, but at last you must retrieve the data. You must deal with the data flow. So even if it cannot connect to the internet, it still has some other ways of connectivity, maybe Bluetooth, maybe NB-IoT, or maybe through USB portal or others. So that's why I think every edge device at least has some ways of connectivity. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's true. I'm thinking of some scenario that a device may not have any kind of connectivity. Yeah, it's very unlikely. True. It's true.
Yes. I was also thinking about that because
I see there's a small typo, by the way.
Yes.
In these cases, third line, in these cases, you see, DD.
Yeah.
G.
Yeah. You can comment in the in the PR. Yeah. So yeah, I will change that.
Okay. I'll do it afterwards.
All right. So that's the first part. Some major changes. The definition of an edge device.
Can I interrupt you for a minute? So I was thinking, where would be the places where connectivity would be of an implication for doing machine learning? And the only thing I can think of is like scenarios related to federated learning, right?
Sorry, there are some noises. I cannot hear very clearly.
Is this better now?
Not very better. Yeah, you can see, or yeah, just type down. Yeah, either way.
Okay. What I was saying is, I was thinking that what are the scenarios where connectivity has some implications when doing machine learning?
Mm-hmm.
And the only area I can think of is like federated learning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have we put a thought on, like, are we thinking that the runtime needs to behave differently, or like what would be the reasons that connectivity would be important even in that scenario?
So I can state my thinking that it affects the use cases. In case there is constant connectivity, you may have a scenario of hybrid processing that the edge device is processing some part of the neural network and the rest of it is being processed in the cloud, versus a scenario that there is no connectivity and then the entire network is processed on the edge device. For example, let's say that we look at a scenario of natural language processing, okay, all of the ASR use cases. So today, all of them are happening in the cloud. Sorry. Right now, they are moving into a mixed scenario that the device would be doing some of the voice processing, and it will still not do the complete NLP. The rest of it would be done in the cloud. But you can think of a case where the device is completely disconnected and then someone still wants his Google Assistant to be able to look into his calendar. So you can think of two types of, these are two separated use cases. One of them is the entire voice and natural language processing is happening on the device. That's one scenario. Another scenario, only part of it is done on the device, the rest is done on the cloud, and that implies different requirements on the device. In the hybrid use case, when you can count on the cloud to do some of the work, the edge device can be of lower compute capability.
Yes, I agree. So we can change the statement that the consistency of the connectivity. So some applications or some devices requires consistent connected to the network, and some other devices or applications does not require to connect to the network or internet or other devices all the time. Some parts of its job can be done locally, and some parts of the job can be done only by only through connected network. So is that good?
No, makes sense. So do you guys think we need to elaborate on such scenarios a little bit more? So, the folks who are reading it can understand where we're getting, where we want to get to with this. Like the scenario that you described, the hybrid inference scenario is quite interesting, I would say. Some others I would think of as, like maybe we are just encrypting on the edge and the input tensor, and then the graph that we have, the model file we have is just going to do some basic pre-processing and encryption, and then it can send the rest of it to the cloud. Maybe we want to describe that. But such things would require some more ops to be defined. So those are things maybe we would like to bring it to the foray. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure if we want to put it here up front or at a later part.
Yeah, that I agree. Maybe at a place where it is better explained. And
I'm
maybe
not sure
when we talk about the profile and we talk about okay, so one thing that we may want to talk about is how a profile is driven from these, but also a profile should be applicable to a set of use cases, basically.
My opinion is that the answer is yes, because edge computing is highly scenario dependent. It has various forms, and each form adapts to each scenario. So our talk is based on the different scenarios. So without scenario, we cannot talk about anything.
Yeah. Where we place it in the document, we can discuss more also. But I think if you guys agree, maybe at some place we should list out these scenarios. Then the reader would be better. He would be able to understand better what we are saying here, the profile, where we're going with it.
So I think this document is trying to be generic in describing what edge profiling describes and not trying to point down each profile. We can have kind of a separated document for each profile. And in that profile, we can clearly say which scenarios or use cases are applicable to this profile and so on. But I do agree that we need to add some clarification, maybe under the device, maybe under the profile, that explains how connectivity is affecting the potential use cases.
Makes sense.
Yes, yeah, you go first, Sabra.
Makes sense. No, agreed. That would be that's how we can do it. So the scope of this is more of on the sides of defining what the edge is, and then we can go into the space of the solution space of what the profiles mean, and that's where we can elaborate with more detailed scenarios on their usage. Makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so question about the chapter that talks about ONNX Edge profiling. We may be talking about profiles, not just one profile, but a few profiles. It kind of, the way that this is described, it kind of implies that there is a single edge profile. And what we may want to do is to say there is an edge device that was defined. There's a family of edge devices that we defined in the previous section, and now we want to, within that larger family of edge devices, we want to cut it into different profiles based on the things that are described here. Each profile will have different values in its attributes, a dedicated operation set, and use cases or scenarios. So I think the chapter of the edge profiling should kind of try and describe that there are multiple profiles. Because right now, the way that I'm reading it, it looks like it implies there's only a single profile.
Right now, this document is talking about ONNX Edge profile because, in my opinion, from the ONNX point of view, the things this community can do are three things: some quantized operator sets, some smaller size of the models, and some edge runtimes. These are three things I think about that the ONNX community can do. So this document, I wrote this document from the ONNX point of view. It's not from the edge device point of view, because if we start from the edge point of view, edge device point of view, from the edge computing's view, we are not talking about those operator subsets. We are not talking about this model size, runtime, some accuracy, or anything. Because if we start from the edge devices, we can only start from the different scenarios. Based on the different scenario, elaborate or those different attributes or characteristics. But from the ONNX side, these are the three things that come to my mind: model, runtime, and operator sets.
I think one of the things that we described, I think it also appears in the statement of work, is that we want to talk about, at some point, we want to talk about compliance.
Yeah.
So compliance implies that there is a set of modems that you need to, let's say that we don't want, and we kind of said we don't want to handle performance. Performance is for other organizations to handle at this point. So we want to talk about a model that the compliance in this term means whatever you're testing has to generate correct results, or let's say acceptable results in that sense. So what we're actually doing, we're looking at a model and we're trying to test accuracy or any other metric on the output, comparing it to some golden output. Now, that means we have a set of models that we want to test the edge device on. And I think this is where different profiles may become applicable, because the set of models that I want to test on one type of edge device may not be the same set of models that I would like to test on another type of edge device. If we describe a set of models for only a single type of edge device, meaning we have a single profile, it does one of two things. Either our model coverage is too little because some of the devices cannot meet it, or we narrow down what we call edge devices. And I think let me give an example. I have, let's say there is a smart speaker. The smart speaker cannot do the same set of modems that a smartphone can do, or a car, or a router that sits at the edge of the cloud, if we want to put this scenario inside. These are different devices with different use cases. So I still think that we want to cover all of them under the edge working group and just apply a different profile for each of them that would allow us to set a different set of use cases for each one of them.
Makes sense. If we want to talk about each use case or scenarios, yes, it's more like a detailed definition or description of how the ONNX community can contribute, or how the ONNX community can fulfill the requirements of each scenario. Maybe for NLP scenarios, we are lacking. Sorry. For NLP scenarios, we are lacking of some models, or for some other scenarios, we're lacking of operators or any others. Yes, we can do that way. Because if we stay as, if this document stay as what it is right now, it's pretty abstracts is not detailed enough. That is also the question I'm thinking about. So I think yes, we can do it that way.
Okay. So maybe I can just put some comments on the document and try to describe how we can extend it from one profiling to multiple profiles.
Yeah, great. Yeah, great. So there are some, the last major changes is the data locality as well as the power consumption, because in last meeting I said the Huawei's membership with the MLPerf was suspended for now. So I cannot be the representative to collaborate with the MLPerf or other benchmarking communities. So I changed my statement in the power consumptions. I provided several possible ways to lower down the power consumption to optimize that. And the last part is data locality. I talk about both the data locality and the some security. So yes, just so depending on the application, so it is up to the developer to select the best transmission technology, whether through cellular technology, maybe through internet or Bluetooth or any other transmission technology. So it's up to the developer. So it is still possible to create a local network and to send the data to the cloud or for further processing or being stored. Through these communications, attacks can involve something like sensors, collect those privacy data from users, or involving in some autopilot cars or some healthcare devices or some literally every electronic item that will potentially have an access to the network. So I think edge devices should be equipped with some cryptographic, some accelerators for optimizing power consumption and the latency and the security of the data transmission. And these hardwares can also be used for blocking some basic IP attacks, encrypting the data for a better security. So that's the last part, the data locality. Something a section that the last meeting we didn't talk about. So any idea?
So let's see. Actually, no, that. Saurabh, do you have any idea on that?
Not really.
Right. So yeah, we can comment on this MD file and continue to discuss in the next meeting with Milan coming back. And just offer. Can you do me a favor? Just comment in this section and what to do or how to extend this, and I'll do the rest of the work.
Yeah, I was actually talking with Milan. I wanted to maybe contribute a drawing that shows this.
Perfect.
Because in a sense,
and remember to add your name here.
Sure.
All right.
Is there something I could help you guys with?
So I think I'm wondering if we want to mention here the fact that you talk bingo on and this connection between describing edge profiles and describing the use cases into some level of compliance testing. That also should be mentioned somewhere.
Yes, that can be a independent section. And a pretty important section. Yes, I agree.
So I'm trying to see if I can merge your latest version. Maybe I'll do it later on.
All right, can I stop my sharing? Yeah, release.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if we have a few additional attributes that we want to talk about. So let's see. I'm looking at your latest changes. So we have accuracy, we have size, we have latency, and data locality.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not in any way right now, as part of the profile, you're not talking about compute capability of the device.
Actually, this is a part that Milan also mentioned in the last meeting. I think the compute capability overlaps with latency and accuracy, because the output of the compute capability, often we measure the performance by its speed and accuracy. So I think compute capability, in terms of output, we already have two attributes to describe it. That's what I think. So that's what I didn't add the compute capability here. But if we want to add this section by C, so in my device, we can process like 10,000 pictures per second, or in your device, you can only process 1,000 pictures per second. If we want to do a comparison between these two devices, yes, we can add this attribute. But in my opinion, because we already have latency, speed, and the accuracy to describe, because you can see in my devices, to process this kind of this amount of data, I only need 1 second, but in your device, you need 10 seconds. So that is another way of comparison between these two devices. So opinion?
Yeah, that is true. That a way to look at device characteristics other than talking about the compute power is to kind of look at the bottom line. The bottom line, it can process this model with this accuracy and this inferences per second. And that, so it's a combination. It can process frames per second with this accuracy at this power, in a sense. I think maybe since this point is not so obvious, maybe that requires some additional section that tries and kind of explains and says, when you go up and you look at the profile, it's not obvious in a sense that if you combine the attributes together to generate a specific model in a specific inferences per second, power consumption, and accuracy, this is basically characterizes the modem, the device compute capabilities, in a sense.
Yes, yes, I agree.
People would probably ask that, and I agree with you that it makes more sense because in a way you're looking at it as a system. You don't care about the hardware, you don't care about the software. Together they combine a system that gives you this behavior. But this way to describe the device had to become obvious to people who read the document, which is something that need to be added, I believe. So thinking about it, do we care if the device is connected to power or connected to battery? Like what's the type of power connection that he has? Can that, differentiate the device in some way? It's definitely a different power profile. That's so a different power attribute. But other than that, okay. So I guess it's not probably based on on the science. You probably don't think that is something that we need to add. It's okay.
Yeah, just add in the comments. Yeah, we can talk about later.
Mm-hmm.
So, any other things or agenda to talk about in this meeting?
No, I don't have any other agenda items. Let me just go and see where we stand in terms of kind of our plans to finish this, finish the definition of the document. We just need to see if we want to urge people.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear.
Oh, sorry. I was speaking for a while, but I couldn't. So, are you still sharing on the screen?
Offer, can you share the screen?
Okay. No, if you were all, I just thought maybe you're speaking something on the screen, and then it's okay.
No, we were just discussing a few possible additional attributes.
Okay. No, that's good then. Thank you.
Okay, so I want to go back maybe to the statement of work and see kind of what's our target date. We talked about describing the documents. I can share now. Okay, so just to see where we are and kind of track things. So this is Q2. We have something like we have some time to work staying on the documents. The document that we're describing now is what we referred as item number 1. No, item, sorry, 2. So this is the document, right? This is what we're working on now.
Yes.
Okay.
So actually, we combine these two documents into one.
Yes, which is perfectly fine. So we're on track to finish this, and we want to finish it maybe by end of this month.
End of Q2, yeah, this month.
Yeah. So since we're meeting bi-weekly, we have one more meeting scheduled, I think. No? Let's see. I'm just trying to see if we maybe need to agree to add another meeting in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we have only one more meeting to discuss it for the end of the quarter. So if we move into a higher rate, like we just add one, we're supposed to have a meeting on the 26th. Maybe just add another meeting on the 19th. So I'm just asking you if that would be okay on your side.
Yeah, I'm fine with 19.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with 19. Okay, I'm fine with 19 also. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
That's good.
Great. Thanks.
Excellent. So I'll talk with Milan, and we'll just add one more just to see that we'll, like, the meeting on the 26th is the one that we should be in a status that we just approve the document so that we can present it to the other groups. Okay, so I will review the document and put some comments as we just described, and let's just make sure that if you have some more time, continue working on the document a little bit. I'll also try to merge your latest changes right after the meeting. Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's see. So I'm trying again to find it. It should be here. No, it's not the edge scenarios, right?
Yeah, this is a.
This is a different one.
Uh,
I can quickly find it from here. See your pull requests. I can see the commits. Latest commit is 2 hours ago. So
yes.
we're talking about this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So if there's no other issues, maybe you can just close the meeting a little bit earlier today. Is that fine by everybody?
Sure. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So thanks, Sidon and Sarab for joining. And we'll see you. I'll talk with Milan, and maybe we'll try to pack the schedule a little bit and have another meeting next week instead of 2 weeks from now. Looks like we're all in agreement that we would like to do that. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.